Hello. Today we are talking about JavaScript. So it is a lightweight programming language used for client-side programming to bring some interactivity on a web page. So probably we can start by mentioning how JavaScript started. So JavaScript being a lightweight dynamic programming language, it's commonly used as part of web pages, so whose implementation allow client-side programming. So even though JavaScript is a lightweight programming language, it can also be compatible when you want to implement what we call object-oriented, because it has got object-oriented capabilities. Now, JavaScript was first known as LiveScript, but Netscape changed its name to JavaScript, probably because at the time when JavaScript was being introduced, Java was the in thing, probably. So JavaScript made its first appearance in Netscape 2.0 in 1995, and the name then was LiveScript. So the general purpose core for the language has been embedded in Netscape, and the general work of JavaScript is basically to bring in some interactivity on a web page. Now there is ECM 262 specification defined standard for the core JavaScript language. So JavaScript is a lightweight interpreted programming language. It was designed for creating network-centric applications. It is complementary to and can be integrated with Java, complementary and can be integrated with HTML. And also something very important to mention is that JavaScript is a cross-platform kind of programming language. Whatever codes you have, you can run them on Netscape, you can run them on Chrome, you can run it on Edge. So that means JavaScript is very important, and it is a language that can run in most of the browser. So we can always include a JavaScript code in our HTML tags, so that to bring some merits to the web page and how it behaves. Now the merits or the advantages of using JavaScript are as follows. We have less server interaction. You can validate user input before sending the content or submitting the content to the server. So this saves server the traffic, which means less load on your server. Immediate feedback to the users. So in a web page that has got JavaScript embedded on it or within it, there's a way you as a user of a web page can be able to get feedback. So they do not have to wait for page reload, or you do not have to wait for the page reload to see if there could be you've forgotten to enter something. There is also increased interactivity, so you can create interfaces that react when users hovers over them with the mouse or activate them via keyboard. So there is also the richer interface. You can use JavaScript to include such items as drag, drop, component, and sliders to make your web page more interactive. Now, as we are all aware, there are also some disadvantages that comes with JavaScript. So one, it is mostly used on the client side, so it does not allow reading or writing of files. This has been done for security reason. Now JavaScript cannot be used for networking application because there is no support available. JavaScript doesn't have any multi-threading or multiprocessor capabilities. So those are some of the limitations that are facing this programming language. Now there are very many tools you can use. Personally, I use VS Code when working with most of my programming work, but some people might want to use other integrated environments such as Microsoft Front Edge. There's also Micromedia, Dreamweaver, and many others. So those are some of the editors you can make use of if you are doing some serious programming using JavaScript. Now, as you can see, I want to start off by telling you how the syntax of JavaScript is supposed to be implemented. Now, with that brief history of JavaScript, I want to believe you have some knowledge on what JavaScript is. So the first thing you should know about JavaScript, any JavaScript content must always appear within the script tag, because that is by design where your code are supposed to be placed. All right, so it is important to take note of that. So you should always have your script within here. So after defining the major the opening and the closing tags, it is also important to note that you can place JavaScript on the body section. You can also place the JavaScript here on the header section. You can also have JavaScript file as an external file, or yes, then you call it within the header menu to be able to actualize some functions on your web page. So that is the main thing. So you'll write your JavaScript as such. Then here you'll have your statements. Your JavaScript statements must appear within this piece. So having said that, we also need to know that JavaScript tag normally takes two important attributes. So the first attribute that the JavaScript will take is what we call language. Okay, so it will take language. This attribute specify the scripting language you're using. Okay, so it will specify the scripting language you're using. Then the type indicates what is now recommended as what text is it, text or JavaScript. So it should come right after the language, so you can have the type. So type we normally say it is text stroke JavaScript. So you have to state that stroke JavaScript. Okay, So that is it. So I'm going to do an example for you. So JavaScript language should be JavaScript, so the types can either be text or JavaScript. So here you have to do the JavaScript. We have to state that is JavaScript. So there are also some important functions that are already operating within JavaScript, or that already bundled within JavaScript core, which you can use to bring some works onto your web page. So one of those is this is what we call document.write. So we have a document dot write, which is a method within JavaScript that allows you to display components within your web page. So if you have something like this, remember the semicolon is normally optional, but if you are defining variables within one line, you will have to separate the variables using the semicolon. But for now, let's see what would be, or what can become of the work that we've been able to do so far. So if I go to the browser and I refresh, I don't know whether this browser is being captured on my recording, but let's see. Okay, it should display something, and like if I say go live here, it should be able to. So see, so I'm able to display some text using the document.write function, which is a function you can call within JavaScript structure. So inside that structure, you can be able to do quite a number of things. Normally, in any programming language, there is a way you can write comment. Now, in this one, comment is normally written using, if it is a single line comment, you write it using the // but if there are several lines that you are trying to come up with, then you have to write your codes within the following so your comment. So this is we normally talk of multi-line comments should appear within that. But when we are talking of a single line comment, it should be preceded by double forward slash, as you can see. So that's how you can write comments in JavaScript. So why are comments important? Because they are generally being used by the programmers to explain what a piece of code is able to do. So whoever comes across the code is well able to understand and interpret the process or the procedure or the code that is being talked about. So that is about JavaScript and how to place it. Now, so JavaScript normally ignores spaces, tabs, and new lines that appear in JavaScript program. You can use space, tabs, and new lines freely in your program. So it is important to know that. I also stated like a while ago that when declaring variables, or when you can ignore this semicolon here because it is not important. So for instance, if you're declaring variables like what I have here, here I see variable 1 equals 20, and then I say variable 2 equals 10. In that context, I don't need to use the semicolon, but if they were appearing in the same line as such, then in that way we can pick up from there next time. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a series of JavaScript, and hopefully you'll derive some value through these sessions that we'll have. Thank you.